All right, I believe that is my cue. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us tonight via Zoom. My name is Jason Moore, and I'm with Corporate Communications for the city, and tonight happy to be helping facilitate this Ward 4 meeting. For those of you who are new to Zoom, welcome. I hope you like it. Also hope we can get back to in-person meetings again soon, as I'm sure most of you are. This Zoom platform gives us a couple of ways to interact. You can ask questions of Councillor Holt and others through the Q&A feature, and you should see that along the bottom of your screen. You just type your question in whenever you want. There's no need to wait, and we'll read it aloud and get it answered by the appropriate people. The other option is to click the raise hand icon, and you can ask questions yourself that way. Again, no need to wait. Just click the raise hand option whenever you're ready, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. I only ask that you keep your questions as concise as possible, written or verbal, and we'll do our best to get to as many as we can. So that's the basics of Zoom. Now to the meeting. We're here to specifically discuss Ward 4 and the issues and opportunities for Ward 4. This is the 5th of 10 ward-specific Zoom meetings that we're hosting over the course of October and November. And as always, we encourage those with issues or opportunities specific to their ward to bring them up during their meeting. This way we can stay focused on the ward at hand as much as possible. Joining us tonight is, of course, Ward 4 Councillor Chris Holt, but also Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens, and a number of administrative staff are here to help answer any questions the councillor or mayor might wish to defer. There is an hour slated for this meeting, so hopefully that works out. But for anyone who may only have a short time to give us, we'll be trying to get the full meeting up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. Lastly, if you should have any questions that we don't get to this evening or that come to mind later, you can always email your ward councillor, the mayor's office, or 311 afterwards. Now that we know what we're in for, I'd like to ask Councillor Holt to activate his microphone and share a few words to get the discussion going. Councillor?
Thanks a ton, Jason. It's a good thing I didn't do that. I would have messed it up totally. I want to welcome everybody here tonight, and thank you. And I'm really appreciative of you giving up what's turning out to be a gorgeous night out there to spend with us in administration and discussing some important ward topics. So what I'm going to do, first off, I'm going to do our land acknowledgement, and then I'm going to pass it off to Mayor Drew Dilkens for a few of his comments, and then we'll get into the thick of things. So we would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy of First Nations, which includes the Ojibwa, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi. The City of Windsor honors all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their valuable past and present contributions to the land. That being said, Mayor Dilkens, I think I saw your name. Oh, there you are. We'll pass it over to Mayor Drew, and then we'll get into things. Thanks, Drew.
Thank you very much, Councillor Chris. I appreciate the invitation to speak, and good evening, everyone. Grateful to be here and have a chance to meet with you, even though it's virtual. I think we all feel like we're getting to a place, hopefully next year, knocking on wood, that we can all gather again in person, that we're past this virus. And I want to just thank you for your patience as we've navigated our way through some of the challenges of COVID, and we continue to navigate whether it's the airport and some other issues we've had to deal with, and the opening of the border with PCR tests. There's no shortage of issues that are going to continue to frustrate us in the short term, but we're on the right track. We're moving to a better place, and I'm grateful for all of your support and the energy that you've sent our way to be able to work as a city council on your behalf to help us get through. And on the COVID front, you know, if I look at the finance side, just keeping a very high level here, we're sitting in a really good spot, managing our expenses and controlling all the costs that we can to help us get through. And we're really only in a deficit position for the most part on tunnel and airport operations, which we have already reached out to both the province and the federal government to say, hey, we need a little support to get through this. And they've been very, very receptive, recognizing that those two operations, whether we have any flights going or whether we have anyone going through the tunnel, 100 people or 10,000 people a day through the tunnel, it's pretty much the same cost to run the infrastructure one way or the other. So they're working with us on that. Happy about the hospital getting traction to move that process forward. And then I would just say Windsor Works, recognizing that there's some short-term pain coming at Stellantis, our largest employer, with the loss of the second shift sometime next year due to COVID disruptions and supply chain issues. Obviously, there are 1,800 families that are going to be directly impacted, plus all of those who are in the supply chain where they'll feel some pain. Chris Holt, Drew Dilkens, every member of City Council, every member of administration is sensitive to this. We know that this is a big deal for our community, and that's why we have unanimously supported and endorsed our Windsor Works economic diversification strategy. And Council's commitment to this has been nothing but stellar. And so they put initial seed money inside the envelope to help get things off the ground. Jason Raynar, our new city manager, is working with the entire team to help put the framework in place that's going to help us pivot and be successful moving forward. And council has been firmly behind it, and I'm thankful for that. And so I recognize that there are 35 or so people who are attending this meeting, and we have 1 hour. I'm going to stop talking because I'm anxious to hear all of your questions and the responses, and here to assist Chris in any way I can. So thanks for the opportunity to speak, Councillor.
Thanks a ton, Drew. And Councillor Chris, I think that's going to be on my next election sign. That has a ring to it. Okay, so I really don't, anybody who's ever attended any of my ward meetings in the past knows that that I dedicate the entire meeting to you. I don't have a lot of prepared statements. I don't have any, honestly, prepared statements for you here this evening. But what I've done is I get inundated with a lot of the same questions. And what I thought I would do, I thought I'd do things a little differently than a lot of my other council colleagues, and that I would actually pose these questions to administration and then let administration give you the dirty details about a lot of the stuff that arrives in my inbox. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move forward with that because I think that might answer a lot of the questions you might have. If you want, you can build on them, what you hear from administration in the Q&A section. But yeah, let's get right down to that. So one of the most frequently asked questions that I get is regarding our parks department. So I believe James is here. I'm going to ask James. Hello, James. So one of the things that I hear about the most is Stodgel Park. Stodgel Park, we started the process with a public engagement in 2015. It was one of my first public engagements. We came together with a big plan, and we have since then we've got the new playground equipment, and that's pretty much it. So I know there's been some behind the scenes issues with that. I was wondering if you could speak to that as much as you can, explain why the delay has happened, and maybe go into what we can expect and when we can expect Stodgel Park to shine.
Great. Thank you very much, Councillor Holt, and good evening, everyone. I'm James Chockel. I'm the Senior Manager of Parks for the City of Windsor. And as Councillor said, Stodgel Park, the public consultations occurred in 2015 and 16. There was a beautiful master plan design for the park. It included the playground, which was completed in 2016. Subsequent to that, we identified that there were some property disputes or issues that, despite the fact that Stodgel Park had been considered a city property and a city park, there were some title issues going all the way back to the old Hiram Walker days of when the property was transferred from Hiram Walkers to Walkerville to eventually the city. So it did unfortunately take a couple of years to sort all of that out. That has now been resolved. So what we are going to see in the coming months and within the winter, spring of 2022 is the continuation of the adoption of that master plan that was based upon public consultation. So the residents around Stodgel Park are going to see the improvements beginning over the winter and continuing into the spring. That includes a beautiful trail system, lighting, park benches, picnic tables along the trail, additional trees, and if there's the funding is available, a small parking lot and a small gazebo structure. So basically, this is now the fruition of the public consultation, and the master plan that was developed 5 years ago is now going to finally be able to take shape.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that, James, because I know I hear that a lot. I get a lot of questions on that. Another one of the things that I hear a lot about regarding our park system is Memorial Park. And I don't know if it's best to put this to you or maybe to somebody in infrastructure, but Memorial Park floods excessively on a regular basis, which has trickle-down problems for park maintenance, the trails, and that type of thing. I get this question a lot, that what can we do about it? Why is it happening? And I just thought I'd give you the opportunity to share what you know about Memorial Park and those issues with everybody.
Thank you, Councillor Holt. And certainly at any point, if the City Engineering Department would like to hop in and chime in, I welcome that. But basically, from my understanding is of how the park is designed and the role and function that Optus Memorial Park, specifically the memorial section, placed from a stormwater management standpoint within the greater community of the South Walkerville area, is that portion of the park is designed to hold water so that it alleviates the stormwater management facilities within the greater neighborhood, which obviously helps to ensure that people's basements or roads aren't flooding, and in turn the park is going to hold some water. And you know, the unfortunate side effect of that is for park users is that at times the park is going to be wet or soggy conditions, which certainly, Councillor Holt, as you identified, can make it challenging for the park staff to maintain the park at times during heavy rain cycles. However, the difference would be if the park was dry, quite unfortunately, then there's a better chance of roads and people's homes and basements being wet. So really, it's the park is serving its function. Unfortunately, that does at times ensure or mean that the park is not going to be as usable after a heavy rain event as the residents might like.
Yeah, and I try to explain that to residents who call me and complain about it, that one-on-one with them, that you know, if the park and then to a certain degree the roads themselves, when the roads don't drain directly, act as kind of a water retention system to really keep the basements a little bit dry. And anybody in South Walkerville knows back during our frequent rain events and storm events that we were one of the hardest hit in the city. So so this actually provides a good service to the residents, and thank you for letting them know about that. Lastly, I was basically, you gave me a list of parks improvements in the ward. I was going to give you the opportunity to share with the listeners and the viewers what exactly council administration has accomplished in Ward 4 when it comes to parkland investment.
Thank you, Councillor. So certainly over the last number of years, council has invested a great deal of money in a couple of particular areas within the park system. First and foremost, within the forestry department, there has been a lot of funding given to the forestry department for two different areas. One is the active management of our existing tree canopy. So that involves tree trimming, both from a preventative maintenance and a reactionary basis when there are issues. And secondly is increased tree planting. So certainly both within those areas of the forestry department are incredibly important, both not only for the immediate value to all residents, but the long-term value of our urban tree canopy. The second large investment that council has approved within the Parks Department is for our playground replacement program. So certainly within Ward 4, there's been a number of playgrounds recently replaced as part of that program, Stodgel being one of those. And upcoming in the next year or two, there will be a number of other playgrounds being replaced, which is certainly a very exciting program within the city's overall asset management plan.
No, it's great news, and I love sharing some of the good things that that council has achieved and administration is working on. So thank you very much, James. Stick around. I'm sure that there might be some questions from our viewers. So next, let's move off to infrastructure planning, our public works department. The main thing I wanted to give you the opportunity to give everybody an update on is Ypres Boulevard. The people in South Walkerville have been witnessing the resurfacing of the rebuilding of Ypres, and have noticed that it might have expanded a little bit beyond just Ypres, trickling into some other areas within the city. So what I was hoping for, Chris, if you want to tackle this one, is just give everybody an update on what's going on with Ypres.
Thank you, Councillor Holt. Mayor, good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Nepsey. I am the Commissioner of Infrastructure Services, newly appointed the last couple months. Councillor Holt, I'm going to pass this off to Fong. Fong is the manager of contracts and field services and maintenance, and Ypres has fallen with him with respect to the rehab part. So he's got the history, he's got the accurate details, and he can provide the update with respect to Ypres. We had many conversations about it, especially recently, but Fong is the guy. So I'm going to pass it over to Fong.
Thanks a ton, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Councillor Holt. Anyways, Ypres is going extremely well. I know we have some challenges going there, but I know everybody is excited to see new pavements coming in. I believe we only have about 5 days left. We are going to clean up everything. It's going extremely well. Hopefully the weather hold. And then we're pushing for, I mean, again, the project can go a little longer with the sods and everything else cleaning up, but we're scheduled to push forward for 5 working days, and then we'll tidy up everything with a brand new pavement for everybody. And I know everybody's excited, especially with all the parkings and the little interruption that we have. But again, we're very excited to present to you a brand new road in that section.
And everybody's very happy with it. 99.999% of the people understand that, you know, you see a backhoe out in the road, that generally means an improvement in services. So, but I know it's a lot of people have questions about, you know, scheduling and that type of thing. So Fong, thank you so much for that. I'm going to leave that up to date because I realize I'm taking up way too much time with a lot of these questions. And I'm just going to zip ahead to transportation engineering if I can. Now I can't, I've got a whole screen full of names. I'm not exactly sure exactly who will be answering this question, but we've initiated on Kildare Road a traffic calming study, and that is progressing through the process quite well to the point where on November 23rd there's actually going to be a public information center on the Kildare Road traffic calming. And I was wondering if somebody in transportation engineering could explain to the viewers what exactly is happening with this traffic calming study, what to expect during the public information center session, and maybe how they can get involved in helping shape Kildare Road right by Stodgel Park there, and how to calm our traffic that we've been really experiencing a lot of excessive speeding along there.
Councillor Holt, yes, I can speak to that. So as you mentioned, the first public information event is scheduled for November 23rd at 6:30 p.m. and it will be hosted online. The Public Information Center, or the PIC as we refer to, will go over the regional traffic concerns in the area, the findings of the traffic engineering review that the city conducted, and also the proposed solutions, as well as the next steps in the process. It is important for the public to be involved in the shaping of the solutions to deal with traffic calming along this section of Kildare. So we definitely invite the public to be part of it. A notification letter will be mailed out next week to those residents in the area with additional information as to how to be part of the PIC. But anyone is welcome to join the event. The link for this event will be posted on the City's Windsor website under the traffic calming page.
Oh, that's wonderful, Juan, and I really appreciate you helping to spread that out a little bit, because I know a lot of people here are very interested in slowing down the traffic along Kildare Road there. And for everybody listening, and if you follow me on social media, that type of thing, and you don't get one of these mailings, I will share the information and online. And I'm sure that you could also call 311 and ask them how you could participate if you're not on social media. So thank you very much for that one. Now, Barry Horban, I know Barry was from Windsor Police Services was on here. So I've asked Barry to attend the meeting today to talk about a project that we've been working on for quite some time now in the Via Italia neighborhood, and then soon to be Ottawa Street neighborhood. And what we've been trying to do in conjunction with resident groups and the BIAs is make our alleys safer and more secure. So Barry, if you could explain to everybody briefly exactly what it is, the process that we've gone through, what you've done with and your partnering groups in those two BIA areas, and just give them an update on what's going on.
Sure. Thank you, Councillor Holt, Mayor Dilkins, and everyone that's on the call tonight. The project the two projects, one in two very rich neighborhoods of our city, the Erie Street or Via Italia neighborhood, and the other one in our Ottawa Street neighborhood. involve looking at wholesale changes, improvements, physical improvements to the alley networks that are in these neighborhoods. And like other older neighborhoods, and alleys form an important thread, important connecting network for both residents and businesses. And so the BIAs have been sort of leaders in these two neighborhoods, Via Italia and Ottawa Street. And again, Via Italia is a little ahead of Ottawa Street, but Ottawa Street is following a similar pattern. Both have an extensive network of alleys, and they extend into the abutting residential neighborhoods. So it is, as the councillor mentioned, an extensive partnership. Both these projects, these initiatives involve extensive partnerships with the BIA being the lead, and then with their councillor, and then other organizations, the City of Windsor. There's departments from the city involved in these initiatives as well, and certainly the local residents and others, NWIN and some others. So in the case of Via Italia, there's a plan in place to have 47 high quality LED lights installed in the alleys that extend both along Erie Street and then in those alleys in behind, and then extending back some distances into the abutting neighborhoods to make them safer and make them more comfortable for our residents and visitors to those areas. 6 of the 47 lights have been installed already in Via Italia. We had hoped the other 41 would have been installed by now, but and I hate to blame COVID because everybody blames COVID, but it has caused a huge backlog in the supply chain for just about everything, which includes lights. So thanks to our partners at NWIN who were able to free up the first 6 lights. We did get those installed last year. They made a significant difference in terms of how comfortable and brighter and safer those spaces are. And then we anticipate the other 41 to go in sometime in the new year. I don't want to give a date because I don't want to be held to that, but I know that we are in the queue and we are moving along on that. Ottawa Street has got a similar plan where there was an assessment done identifying areas where need was the greatest, tapping into areas that have existing lights and then working off of that and adding some lights. So they're in the process of getting their lights put in place as well. So both projects involve significant partnerships with the residents, the BIA, all the businesses, other city departments, other agencies, the health units involved as well. So, and both are great projects for both of these neighborhoods that promote not only public safety, but just greater quality of life and well-being in both of these neighborhoods.
No, thank you so much, Barry. And I have to admit that this has been one of my favorite projects to work on since landing on council, because it brings together so many groups that are interested in making their community a safer and better place. Now, one of the initial things that we've done within this process, one of the things you've done is you've completed what we call a CPTED walk, so crime prevention through environmental design, where you identify a lot of the trouble areas within these alleys. But I also know that you've done this with individual resident groups sporadically throughout the ward as well. And I thought that was a wonderful thing that to happen, because then the resident groups can have a better understanding of what problem areas they might have in their neighborhoods, what improvements they can make to their property to increase the sense of safety and security. So what I was hoping you could do is speak briefly to that and let everybody who's listening know that if they wanted to participate in something like this with you, how could they do it?
Thanks for bringing that up. Neighborhood safety walks based on the principles of CPTED, or crime prevention through environmental design, where we look at how our neighborhoods are actually designed, built, and then how they function as it relates to public safety and security. We've been doing these safety walks for many, many years through my office and in partnership again with other groups like the Safety Village, who are on the call tonight. And we've done them all over the city. So, but most recently in the beginning of October, I led a safety walk in the old Walkerville area off Argyle Court near Ottawa Street. And then in the middle of the month, I did one for the residents of Gale Street in South Walkerville, not far from Optimus Park. So as you mentioned there, very quickly, they are a great tool to engage directly with residents and then physically walk their neighborhood and point out the strengths of how their neighborhood looks and how it appears to a criminal in terms of its resistance to crime. And then if there's things that exhibit themselves that look like the property might be more susceptible for an act of crime or disorder to occur, we have that discussion, we point these things out, and collectively amongst all the group that participates, we typically have anywhere from 8 to 30 people that attend these walks. And I've done them in all types, all throughout the year. I've even done them in winter. So So I have done them in your ward, Councillor Holt, for sure, and including the 2 recent that I just mentioned, but we've done them all over the city in pretty much all the wards, and they're a very good tool. That and the alley safety project, I would just wrap up by saying that both of those are very strongly aligned with the soon to be implemented, effective January 1st, community safety and well-being plan that all municipalities in the province of Ontario will have. Every municipality must have a community safety and well-being plan, and we will have one rolled out and fully implemented, effective in 2022. And these types of activities where there's a lot of engagement and a lot of groups working together, sort of a stone soup approach, partnering and whatnot, is heavily aligned with the intent of the community safety and well-being plan. So I'll close at that point.
Thank you so much, Barry. And to anybody, any listeners who are interested in maybe participating or organizing a safety walk in your neighborhood, simply shoot me an email, cholt@citywindsor.ca, and we'll make that happen for you, because I think it's a very important thing that the neighbors get together and discuss some of these issues that they might be collectively having together. So thank you, Barry, for that. Next, I would like to move on to the planning department. I believe Christina is here from the planning department. Christina, I have been getting a ton of questions about our Walkerville districting project, where we are in it, what we hope to accomplish with that, and you know, give us an idea of exactly what's going on with this Walkerville districting project, and what the next steps are, and what we can, as residents, hope to see come out of it.
Thank you, Councillor Holt. So my name is Christina Tang. I'm the Heritage Planner. My colleagues actually the lead for this project, but if I could speak very briefly to it, we're happy that there's been good response in terms of like feedback and interest from the neighborhood. And if you are aware, the initiatives, improvement projects and opportunities presentation and feedback survey just closed on November 2nd. So that was just yesterday, and the project is now in the final stage of development. So further to that, the consultants from Brook Mill Roy, they will be collecting the feedback, reviewing it, and seeing if there's any refinements to be made to the proposed plans. And then likely they will present the final project to council early next year. So at that time, area residents or any interested parties will be able to speak to the final plan as a delegate to the council meeting. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, Christina. Now, what do we hope to gain going through this project? What is the end goals of that? It's quite an extensive project. We've had numerous public engagement sessions, like you said, one just ended yesterday, where the residents and the visitors get to share their ideas. What is the big high level goal of going through this process?
Right, I think basically is to solicit the views and opinions and experiences of the community, to get their input, to build on what is valued and what is celebrated in the community, and to enhance that by making investments in the public realm, spaces for everybody to improve in where we live, work, and play. So yeah, and then Walkerville in particular is to celebrate a lot of the historic connections that we have in that neighborhood, and the special identity within the distillery district.
Beautiful. And I couldn't agree more. It's been an exciting process. It's been fun to engage with everybody. So there's so many creative people that are involved with this. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next stage is. Thank you very much, Christina. So I'd like to move on to Windsor Police. Now I know I saw Carl in here. The deputy chief is on here. Now these are more general questions that I get, but I get them a lot. I also, through social media, we've we've been sharing, various petty thefts, car break-ins, that type of thing, as well as excessive vehicular noise, specifically in the South Walkerville neighborhood, because of their proximity to Tecumseh Road. I was hoping that you could speak to that a little bit. What the residents can do that are listening to maybe make themselves less attractive of a victim when it comes to a lot of these property petty crimes, and what the Windsor Police Services is doing about the excessive vehicular noise, because I get those questions a lot.
Thanks, Chris. I think my camera's inactivated, but yeah, thank you. It's Inspector Carl DeGraff with Windsor Police. Thanks for the questions, Chris. So as far as the noise concerns and noise issues related to mufflers, squealing of tires, etc., there we go. We started a focus campaign related to the noise issues on May 24th of this year. And as a result of that, we ended up handing out 170 tickets related strictly to vehicle noise within the city. As a reporting issue, what we encourage all citizens of Windsor to do is log on to our website, Windsor Police, and in there is a function related to specific traffic complaints. And we have a road watch program and also a means to report issues related to like running of stop signs, noise complaints, etc. And because we're very much a data-driven organization, we really require the complaints to be forwarded to us, because then we can focus our resources more specifically on these problem areas. The noise enforcement program was really ramped up through the summertime, and that was basically due to the different types of cars that were available out in the summer cruising, motorcycles, etc. We still continue to enforce these complaints, so I still encourage all your ward members to continue to report these incidents to us so we can focus our efforts. As far as it relates to property crime issues, I'll go back somewhat just to like simple thought processes. So if you can consider, if your property, little things like making sure that your vehicles are clear of any belongings. Don't keep bags inside your car. Don't become an easy target. So I would certainly recommend people to be proactive in that kind of nature. But in saying that, if you have been targeted, again, please report these incidents to us, because we are able to focus specifically on target neighborhoods. And by doing that, we're able to use officers from our property crimes unit, our problem-oriented policing unit, and we flood your areas, and probably unbeknownst to you, they're plainclothes officers and plainclothes cars, and we do watch diligently, and we do certainly target these individuals that are causing problems within the neighborhood. And I'll just show share just a short anecdote about the reporting issue. Recently, it was in the media in relation to an individual that was committing mischief by spray painting buildings and causing concerns in the neighborhood. When we initially investigated this was more of a social media complaint, and we certainly reached out to people to ensure that their complaints were heard. And based on those complaints, obtaining video, we were very much quickly able to apprehend this individual and charge him with several offenses. So again, I can't stress enough how important reporting of these incidences are, and we can certainly focus our efforts to deal with them.
No, thank you. All great stuff, Carl. And just to let everybody know, Carl's my go-to guy. Whenever you reach out to me regarding petty crimes or other issues that you're experiencing in your neighborhoods, Carl is the man that I reach out to. So if you can, cut out the middleman and go directly to Windsor Police Services, like Carl's recommended, we'll get some better responses to a lot of these issues. So, and Council just recently, Carl, maybe you can help me explain exactly what Council did. We made it a little bit easier or tougher? I don't know which what would be better for these people that modify their vehicles and the excessive sound noises. Can you explain a little bit about the changes that we've done with that?
Yeah, I sure can, Chris. So previously, the City of Windsor noise bylaw was more of a blanket type coverage. And I believe, I'm not sure the specific date, Chris, but I believe somewhere in May of this year, the city passed more specific legislation as it relates to noisy, I have a small list here, loud music from cars, horns, revving of engines, squealing tires, ineffective exhaust, and ineffective mufflers. And what that allows the police to do is have a very much a specific offense rather than a generalized umbrella. And it's difficult to get convictions under a generalized umbrella. If we have specific occurrences that we can enforce, such as an individual squealing tires just to accelerate from a stoplight, it's certainly much easier for us to gain convictions in court. And so we obviously appreciate the city's cooperation in allowing us to do our jobs easier.
No, thank you very much, Carl. And yeah, it's whenever we can make small improvements like that, and we can coordinate the responses to the complaints that we hear, we try to do so as quickly as possible. So, Carl, thank you very much for that. And I'm going to finish up on more of a large or high level question that I get a lot because we're hearing it in the news quite often. And these two words, Windsor Works, are being used for numerous disparate capital spending, operational spending that City Council has been doing for quite some time. So I've asked our new CAO, Jason, to give us a high level idea of what exactly Windsor Works is and what we're trying to do by moving forward with the Windsor Works program.
Good evening, Councillor Holt. Thanks so much for having us here, and just delighted to spend some time with Ward 4 residents. Looking forward to it being in person at some point in the not so distant future, hopefully, but delighted to be here. Yeah, no, thanks very much for the question. I think, in some ways, Windsor Works is about how we look at all of the 27 lines of businesses that we provide to the community, the $1 billion of this organization annually, and look at it through an economic development lens, right? Because we know that if you improve quality of life, you actually can help retain and attract talent that then feeds into the companies that want to locate here and want to have the businesses, right? So it's surprising, but I actually think there's, just about everything that we do, you could look at through that lens to say, how does it help improve and ultimately deliver tangible improvements to the quality of life of our residents? One of those being high quality employment right here at home. So it does, the Windsor Works strategy is a comprehensive document that council approved that really looks at 4 key pillars: location, infrastructure, future economy, and talent. And there's a weighty document about what all of that means. But the brass tacks of it, which I'm just delighted that council approved the implementation plan just a few days ago, I guess, actually, feels like yesterday, and really resourced as well as identified what the key projects are and key enablers that are going to help this strategy move forward. And it's very exciting. Some of it involves just looking harder at certain things, like, for example, should we have a film commissioner? We've heard of the film industry locating, sites within Windsor. We're very affordable, strategic location. But should we, resource that better and provide more guidance to really try to take that sector and support that sector even more. But we're still looking at that. And then there are other very specific projects where we want to take, space that we own and convert it into multi-use flex space that businesses that are either, just starting up or, scaling. And so that they can have some space and don't have to lock into 5-year leases or something like that, that can be crippling when you're just getting your business going.
And thank you so much for that, Jason, because I know a lot of people, because we apply the Windsor Works justification to so many different, very different things that we speak about through the media, through our council meetings, that type of thing. So to get a broader idea of what exactly we're trying to accomplish is very important. So thank you very much for that. So I'm going to leave it off at that. Unfortunately, it ran a little bit longer than I anticipated. I hope it was of value to a lot of the folks on the line. I hope maybe it answered some questions. But that being said, let's go back to Jason Moore. Jason, hello, and we'll get into the Q&A and maybe get into some more specific questions that you have for us today.
Yeah, very good, Councillor. We do have some people using the Q&A function, so that's great. And we have a couple of hands up still too, so that's very, very good. A couple of hands have gone down too, so you must have nailed the questions they were asking. The first question I have to pass your way is from Aaron, who asks, when will park and parking lot repairs happen at Optimus Park?
Park and parking lot repairs. Well, I just happen to have, well, James is on the line, and actually I have posted that question to James just the other day. So it's very topical, and I